Oh no's Windigos. Welcome, everybody. The Ice Caverns are available as of yesterday. Iron Mace making good on their promise to get these out. The Amigos and I loaded into the game a bunch last night. I think we probably ran 6 raids on this map, but unfortunately about 5 of them terminated abnormally, so we really didn't get to see much. And it's in the forced rotation. I didn't think that they'd put it in the forced rotation. I thought it would be outside the rotation so you could queue up for it with whatever comp you wanted, whenever you wanted. But they changed that at the last minute, so this is now part of the forced map rotation. And I don't know how to feel about that, but let's set that aside for a second. So let's talk a little bit about the Ice Caverns. It is fantastic to have some new content to do. I'm very excited about it so far. Here's my first tip for you guys who have not yet gone in to the Ice Caverns, the new map that's available in Dark and Darker. Bring more meds than you're used to bringing. And there's a couple reasons for this. The first of which is, sadly, the rubber banding, the server desync that we've kind of gotten used to in Goblin Caves and Ruins is still here. It may be a tad worse, actually, and we've kind of, I think, learned, each of us, on how to compensate for that lag around the movesets for the AI mobs that we know. But a lot of these mobs have new movesets, and so what you're going to find is one slip up gets you hit by a frost skeleton. Frost skeletons apply a stacking debuff that impairs movement speed, so you're going to end up taking a lot of damage from just one missed attack. So I'd recommend the old fundamentals, bait or block, and then get your swings in until you learn the new movesets. The desync is very real. Iron Mace, you really gotta do something about this. But so far, my experiences with the map, very positive. There's a surprising amount of verticality. I don't miss the absence of the storm, really, at all. I'm kind of happy that it's gone, actually. It's working out pretty well. You can see here I'm almost dead to 2 skellies. It's a good thing I found this surge kit. Let's go ahead and pop this now. But yeah, like I was saying, more meds than you're used to bringing in because you're going to take more damage than you anticipate. Not only do the frost skeletons with their stacking debuff kind of provide, a little bit of a punishment for learning new movesets. In addition to that, you've got the dogs in here, the frost wolves, and they're very difficult to block a lot of the time. We've got some new mobs which are, called kobolds, but I'm going to call them ice goblins because that's essentially what they are. They're extremely loud. You'll find them very quickly. But a lot of interesting new mechanics being brought to bear on these new maps, the first of which is ladders, which, as it sounds like, you walk up to them, and if you continue to hold W, you will go up. If you hold S, you will go down. While you are on a ladder, you cannot do anything except go up or down that ladder. So, for example, in a moment here, you're going to see me climb up a ladder to get to a lion's head chest that is at the very top of the ladder. You have to kind of dismount the ladder, shimmy to the side a little bit, then you'll be able to open the box. But until you do that, you're just kind of SOL. The second new mechanic is there's a bunch of new extract types. In addition to the extraction that we're used to seeing from, portals, I have not seen a single blue portal yet. I have not seen any little blue obelisk emerge from the ice that I can click on and exit. Instead, we've got static extracts, which work fairly similarly to the other maps. You'll see them designated on the map, and they have torches out in front of them that light up when they're open, and then those torches turn off when they've been consumed. They are a single use. In addition to that, there seems to be elevators. I've only encountered them once, but the elevator allowed me and my 2 amigos to exit the map as a group. I'm not certain, but I think they may be able to be called back. So if you see a group extract in front of you, I think you can go back, pull the lever again, the elevator will descend. If I'm wrong about that, please correct me. We went onto the elevator last night with 5 people on there, but I think if you're not standing in the very center of the elevator, you can get clipped as it's slowly ascending up and pushed off. And I think that's what happened to the 2 guys who were kind of demonstrating the mechanic to us. But regardless. So we got a whole bunch of new mob types in here. Some of them are variations, like we have frost bats, which are very similar to cave bats. We have frost wolves, very similar to the normal wolves that we've gotten used to seeing in the ruins. But we've got two kind of sub-bosses. I think they're sub-bosses. The first of which is the Windigo. Oh, knows Windigos. And I'll tell you, that thing is tough. We accidentally pulled it last night, and it was almost a total party wipe. We were able to find a way to cheese it, and that's the only reason we got it down. So earlier I was talking about the ladder. Here's me going up a ladder and trying to interact with the chest, but I cannot interact with the chest while I'm on that ladder. There's a bat coming. I'm going to go ahead and drop back off. No fall damage yet. So yeah, my second tip for you guys, if you've got any kind of range option at all, be it a crossbow on this fighter that I'm running, or a bow on your ranger, or spells, I would recommend breaking into each of these rooms very slowly. The mob density is surprisingly high, like OG Goblin Caves high. So enter with caution. You can quickly become overwhelmed, and if those enemies are applying the frost debuff to you, you are going to lose movement speed, and it's going to be kind of a cascading failure from there. So make sure you're kind of entering these rooms slowly until you're really comfortable with the new map and the mob layouts that we've got going on here. But yeah. So the Windigo, I am going to speculate here because, we put collectively 30 or 40 hits into its head last night, and that barely scratched it. Alternatively, the model seems to have kind of a glowing spot on its abdomen where its waist kind of meets its upper torso. And I'm going to guess, and this is just a guess, that is the critical hit spot on that model type. And that they're kind of shaking it up a little bit so it doesn't take extra headshot damage. It may take extra abdomen damage. But that's purely a guess on my part. If that's not the case, then I'll tell you, Windigos have way too many hit points. Like, way too many hit points. Our entire team was wailing away on this thing for a very long time. Giants are on the map. It's a new mob type. They are tough, but kind of manageable compared to the Windigo. The Windigo really blew our socks off. Once again, here, you'll see me fighting this skeleton. I'm giving them a lot of respect. I'm popping sprint. I'm kind of kiting them out because, getting hit once is really bad. It's not like, they're not like the goblins and goblin caves where they have the poison debuff, but that snare is almost kind of worse in an insidious way because if you get hit once, you're likely to get hit more than once, and you can look up and all of a sudden you're at 20% of your hit points, and you're fighting two mobs, like I was just a moment ago. Another new mechanic you're going to see quite a bit here is like very translucent looking ice. It'll be a much lighter shade than the majority of the walls, and this is destructible terrain. And we found it in a number of applications, much like you would have, and there you just saw a bowman do a melee attack. This is new for the frost skellies. Once you get into melee range with you, they preferentially use their melee attack instead of shooting you. Good change. But once again, I wasn't really expecting that because I'm not trained to expect that. But going back to the translucent ice, much in the way that they've used wooden barricades kind of in the past to separate rooms or subdivide modules, you're going to see a lot of that in here. Now, before I got here, there was a translucent ice floor there that somebody probably broke through to go down. You're going to see up here in a second, we've got some icicles here that are protecting this crawl space. And a couple whacks will break them. Last night we broke into a room, and it had an altar. At the top of the altar was an ice block, and clearly you could see inside of it was a blue morning star. Breaking the ice exposed the morning star. I was able to loot it and use it briefly until the servers crashed, which they were doing a lot of last night, but in the 2 runs that I've done so far today, no crashes, so maybe they've gotten a hold on that. All right, here's a perfect example of one of the static extracts. You got blue torches on the outside. The gate is open. I run out, and I'm out of here. Now, this poor guy, this warlock, he had cleared that fixed extract and was kind of playing around it. And in a moment here, you're going to see he's going to go back to try to activate it and go home. But I have taken his ride. So he has going to have a little bit of a harrowing experience trying to get out. But we'll watch him for a second. I'm still in a deep learning mode here with this map. Obviously, I've run it a handful of times. I'm really trying to understand better the layouts and the options. You know, I don't really have a good grasp on that. So I'm doing a little bit of watching here just to see if I can learn anything by observing him. But the translucent ice effect, I think, is pretty cool. Destroyable terrain. There'll be some rooms that have giant ice blocks. They look like kind of monolithic ice sculptures. And you can break those down to create more space or to expose areas of the room you otherwise couldn't access. So be on the lookout. They're pretty obvious when you see them that they are destructible. And they're going to give you some more options to play around. Now, here we go. The Warlock's heading back to the fixed extract that he's already cleared to, but it's closed. Now, I don't know this, but I think that had he kept running up the stairs in that closed fixed extract, I believe he would have fallen off the map and died. I'm not entirely sure, but I'm pretty sure that there's not an invisible wall there and that you can actually fall off the map if you're if you're not careful. Because you know, the mechanic that's protecting you there is the send you home extraction, but once that's disabled, I don't think there's a back end to that portal, so be very careful. And I thought he was dead for sure here. I thought he was a goner, but he's run into this other module. And he seems to be moving with purpose. Yeah, he knows that he sees that that one is open, and he's moving toward it. And there it is in the distance. See those blue torches indicating that there is a, I guess the dark blue torches, not the light blue torches, indicating that it's open and available. I think he's going to try to wedge himself through this crevasse, but he's too big, he won't fit. Not even close. Good job, buddy. You're home free. Alright, so this is what happens when you don't extract. You turn into an ice cube and die. So they have replaced the you know, dark swarm, the storm mechanic with this kind of blizzard mechanic. And starting at about 2 minutes, you'll begin to get a cold debuff, which moderately decreases at least your movement speed, if not both your movement speed and your attack speed. And if you are still on the map at the end of the game, you freeze to death. And that's what that looks like. But here we are in match 2. And back in here on the fighter, white lobby, base gear. And here you're going to see that I'm doing exactly what I was doing before, which I'm being extraordinarily cautious. I'm being very methodical, attempting to pull mobs to me and operating in a very safe space. Softening up a lot of them with ranged attacks, simply because I'm just not comfortable with where the hit point breakpoints are on a lot of the new models. So even though I've got 2 skellies here, I'm going to keep softening up the lead one with some crossbow bolts. Once again, just being super cautious. Because look at that jab. That attack is like deceptively long range. So I may stop just attempting to evade that altogether when I don't have sprint up and just go for the block 100% of the time. So as always, keeping yourself at full HP is a must, even more so when you're operating in here. I think the last, 18 hours or whatever this map has been live, there's a lot of kind of friendly spirit of cooperation going on as everybody's kind of getting their feet under them and learning the new map. But this is going to go back to business as usual, which is killing strangers on the map. So you just always need to be prepared to take a fight, and that way you won't be caught off guard and on your back foot at the start of an engagement. Once again, just being overly cautious here, putting a lot of damage into the mobs before I close for melee. Because there's so many unknowns. But I love the art style. When I first saw it last night, I think Kovac's reaction was, this just looks like Goblin Caves with slightly blue. And they definitely have reused some of the themes and the design elements from other maps. For example, on this map, there is a pyramid room that is extraordinarily similar in design to the pyramid room that we find on level 2 of the ruins, but it is differently themed. I mean, clearly it's not just a swarm of bats over a golden chest, but instead they've kind of borrowed the inspiration for that room and kind of transported it into a new environment. Something I had anticipated but I have not seen yet is I was expecting kind of some of these icy terrains that we're going to be walking on to be slippery or to impair movement in some way. I have not seen that. What I have seen is that there are stalactites hanging from the ceiling in some rooms, and those will fall periodically on you, causing mild damage. We tried to shoot them last night, our ranger did, pigs, and we were not successful in getting them to fall on either mobs or players. Maybe that's something that's in the works, or maybe we just didn't do it right. Both are possible. What I found with all of the new animations is that they still have problems with the Z-axis. So if you're able to fight at a slight elevation or a slight incline, like I'm doing here, like their attacks just kind of go over your head, and you're able to take advantage of that quite easily. That's probably tip number 3 for this video, is that the Z-axis is still the bane of all dark and darker mobs, and you can use it to great effect. In terms of treasure, it seems to be about the same. I mean, there's a couple like very specific module-specific new treasure types. I know that there's a treasure room in here. I have not found it yet. It's supposed to be dangerous, but I have not found it yet. I have found a number of golden chests / lion's heads. They have been kind of, I would say on average, about 1 per module. So if you're going through a module and you're not finding one, keep looking. There's probably one there. This is my first time in this module, and so I'm looking at this kind of, I don't know, hut on this little island out in the middle of this module. I'm thinking, surely that's where the treasure's going to be here. There's tons of mobs guarding it. Spoilers, I'm going to clear this whole thing, and there's not a golden chest in there. I was a little disappointed, I'll be honest with you. As a matter of fact, like, you've noticed that while I've been clearing this cautiously, I still got like a train of 3 mobs. Kind of out of nowhere. Now, I suspect that since that door's open over there, another player came into the module, kind of riled up those skeletons, and then either died or ducked out. I'm not sure which. But yeah, I'm jumping that little rope bridge. Because once again, I'm taking it very slow and being very methodical with how I'm doing this. It doesn't look like that Spyhander Skelly can cross that rope bridge, which is good to know in future. So this guy's attack also caught me off guard. Check out this animation here. I feel like I blocked that. Definitely didn't block that. Yeah, it's just going to take more getting used to. So you saw there his attack, you know, caused me to shiver, and I kind of made that shivering noise. And I think that's a really insidious mechanic, because if you got hit once and now you're slowed, the likelihood of you getting hit by a second, very high. Yeah, so just to summarize some of the tips that I have learned while coming into this new map. 1, bring more meds than you're accustomed to bringing. I think you're going to find you're taking more damage than what you're used to. Couple different factors there. The new mechanic, which we've discussed, the freezing mechanic, definitely an important part of that, but also just the new attack patterns, the new move sets for the AI. They're going to take time for all of us to learn. Add to that, the third reason, like the server stability, the desync is still very there. We're still going to have to, you know, work through it. Iron Mace, please. So second tip is just be really cautious while you're getting to learn the map and you're clearing new modules. Pull mobs back to a safe area using your distance attacks, and just go slow. Running into the unknown in a lot of these new modules are going to be extremely deadly. And then here, you know, I guess tip 3, you know, start clearing towards one of the static extracts or one of the fixed extracts pretty early because, you know, I found myself short on time a number of times. You're going to see here that I almost die here. I got really lucky and had to use a lot of guile and trickery to be able to get out when I did. I go to... during the course of this clear through this module, I am moving towards a static extract that I see there on the minimap. The little blue icon designating that there is a static there. I'm moving there deliberately. Spoilers, when I get there, it's already been used. So I then panic, and I have to then go traverse completely foreign tile sets, new modules I've never been in. I've got to kind of dodge through them, running by I don't know how many of the ice goblins. And I am lucky enough that I do get out here, but it is more luck than skill. So get ready to enjoy that harrowing sequence. In closing, I really hope you enjoyed the new map. I'm really excited to have some new content. I really can't wait until we're getting to experience all 3 levels of this new zone. But right now, we've got level 2. We're going to see level 1 and level 3 added at a future point. Apparently, they're planning on adding an ice wyvern to this level eventually. It's not in right now. These ice bats trying to mess with me while I'm fighting the skelly. That's all right. But if you learned something, if you enjoyed yourself, please like and subscribe. It helps me a ton. And if you made it this far in the video, you're clearly enjoying yourself. So come on, give me a like, give me a subscribe. Enough begging. Here we go. So the little blue bar above the mini map down there lets me know how cold it is. Basically, there's a blizzard coming in. I think that's the rationale. You can start seeing snowflakes dropping, and you'll see that I have a red debuff on me. I'm not exactly sure what this is doing right now, but it does feel like you're both moving and attacking more slowly. Now, according to the minimap, there should be an exit portal here, but I'm a little nervous because I see those torches and they're off, and it looks like the gate's up. You'll see that translucent ice bridge to my left there. That's actually breakable terrain. But yeah, that is open and the torches are off. Someone has already used that, and now I am in a pickle with very little time remaining in the map. So here goes nothing. Bear in mind, I have no idea where I'm going. I can't see another static on the map. I'm just kind of running in a direction at this point. Look, kobolds. Yikes. More kobolds. Lots of kobolds. And probably a dead end. Do a little box hopping. I'm going to crawl in this hole. Could be dying. Those blocks are destroyable there. Those ice cubes I just ran by. Maybe this would be the way. Thanks, lots of damage. See ya, boys. There's even more in here. Go ahead and pop that second wind. Sprint. See if I can get somewhere where I can see an extract on the map. So earlier I was talking about the kind of reimagining of the pyramid rooms from the crypts, and that's where I'm going to end up here in a moment. So you're going to get a nice side view. It's kind of a central room here. I think it's always going to be a middle room. Still getting wailed on. Here we are. Here's the ice ziggurat. And no bats in here, but it is surrounded by lots of ice skellies, spawning them up, but I am just booking it towards this extract. It is better to be lucky than good. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you learned something. I hope you're having as much fun with this new content as I am. Until next time, Koopa out.